Hollywood's treatment of women who speak up has always been brutal, but what happened to Megan Fox reveals something far more calculated than simple blacklisting. It shows us exactly how the entertainment industry systematically dismantles and rebuilds women who dare to challenge it.
That's such a powerful way to frame this discussion. We're not just talking about career setbacks, but about an actual playbook for controlling and silencing women in the industry.
You know, when I went back and really studied how this unfolded, it's fascinating to see how methodically they approached it. In 2007, Transformers launches, and suddenly Megan Fox isn't just an actress, she's this carefully manufactured product designed specifically for male consumption.
And what's really striking is how they stripped away every aspect of her personality except what served that specific purpose.
Well, let's look at the numbers here. Between 2007 and 2009, she appeared on over 50 magazine covers, but in those interviews, less than 20% of the questions were actually about her work as an actress. Everything else focused on her appearance, her relationships, her sex symbol status.
That's exactly what makes this so insidious. They weren't just marketing her body, they were actively suppressing her voice.
And then comes that pivotal moment in 2009, the infamous interview where she compared Michael Bay to Hitler. Now, was it an inflammatory comparison? Sure. But what's fascinating is how quickly the industry machinery mobilized to destroy her credibility.
The speed of that response really suggests it was just waiting for an excuse, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and here's where it gets really interesting. Within 6 months of that interview, there were over 30 negative stories planted about her being difficult on set, unstable in relationships, and ungrateful for her success. This wasn't random, it was a coordinated campaign.
The way they used the media as a weapon is particularly fascinating. Every late-night joke, every tabloid headline was part of this larger strategy.
Right? And what's really telling is how they managed to make the public complicit in this process. By 2010, mocking Megan Fox had become such a common cultural touchpoint that when she was actually speaking about serious issues like being sexualized as a teenager in the industry, people were primed to dismiss her.
That Jimmy Kimmel interview where she talked about being sexualized at 15 in Bad Boys and the audience just laughed. It's chilling to watch now.
Let me break down what happened next, because this is where we see the real sophistication of Hollywood's control mechanisms. After essentially blacklisting her, they didn't just let her fade away, they started testing the waters for a very specific kind of comeback.
The whole spiritual mystical rebrand was so carefully calculated. It's like they found a way to make her crazy, marketable instead of threatening.
Exactly, and you can see this in the numbers. Her social media engagement actually increased by 300% during the Machine Gun Kelly era. But if you analyze the content of her interviews during this period, there's a complete absence of any industry criticism.
So they essentially found a way to monetize her rebellion while still maintaining control over her actual voice.
And here's what makes this story so relevant right now. We're seeing these same patterns play out with other actresses who challenge the status quo. The methods might be more subtle, but the underlying message remains the same: conform or face the consequences.
You know what's particularly striking? The way this system of control has actually become more sophisticated over time.
Well, let's look at some specific examples. When you compare Megan Fox's treatment to what happened to actresses in the 90s who spoke out like Sean Young or Rose McGowan, you can see how the tactics have evolved. It's no longer about outright blacklisting, it's about controlling the narrative in more subtle ways.
The psychological impact of this kind of treatment must be enormous. We're talking about years of systematic gaslighting on a massive scale.
And that's really the heart of what we need to understand here. This isn't just about one actress's career trajectory. This is about a system that's designed to maintain control through psychological manipulation and public perception management.
Looking at it that way, it really forces us to question everything we think we know about celebrity, meltdowns, or difficult actresses, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and here's what I think is the most important takeaway from all of this. Until we address these systemic issues, we are going to keep seeing variations of this same story play out again and again. The names might change, but the playbook stays the same.
That's really what makes this whole situation so relevant and important to understand. It's not just about Hollywood. It's about recognizing and challenging these larger patterns of control and silencing.
You know what's particularly telling? When you look at interviews with Megan Fox now, there's this careful consideration behind every word. It's like watching someone who's learned exactly how much truth they're allowed to tell.
Well, that's the real tragedy here. Watching someone learn to self-censor just to survive in an industry that claims to value authenticity.
And as we wrap up this discussion, I think that's what we really need to take away from this story. Understanding that these aren't isolated incidents or individual bad actors, but rather symptoms of a much larger, more systemic problem that continues to shape how women navigate their careers in the entertainment industry.